Signing Kane. How Bayern Munich finally replaced Lewandowski. After months of rumors and negotiations, this summer's blockbuster transfer saga involving Harry Kane, Bayern Munich and Tottenham Hotspur came down to the wire. On Thursday, Spurs finally agreed to Bayern's fourth bid in 6 weeks for the England captain. Even after Kane had agreed to join Bayern on a 4-year deal, he was delayed from hopping aboard the private jet waiting to take off from London's Stansted Airport. While it seemed that Kane had doubts about whether he really wanted to leave Tottenham after being part of the club for almost 2 decades, the reality was that it unexpectedly took some time before the last financial details were clarified. Eventually, he landed in Munich, held up a red and white jersey, and had a big smile on his face. It was always going to be a tough decision, Kane said at a news conference on Sunday. Ultimately, I'm a professional. I've always pushed myself to my limits, and the time was right. Throughout all of this, Bayern supporters needed to be patient. They'd read a lot of rumors and hearsay, moods oscillating between hopeful and pessimistic. In the end, they got what they desperately wanted, a world-class No.9 to fill the void left by Robert Lewandowski's departure to Barcelona last summer. But whether the wait was worth it remains to be seen. What can already be said is that Bayern's bosses went out of their way to break the club's transfer record, offering Tottenham a package worth €100 million with a further €20 million in add-ons. They also deviated from the usual club policy of keeping transfer negotiations behind closed doors. Much of Bayern's pursuit of Kane was happening in the public by way of constant leaks to the media. The saga took more than a month to unfold, but Bayern's interest in the England captain dates back to 12 months ago, when Lewandowski left for the Camp Nou. As Bayern searched for a replacement for the longtime No.9, they turned to Kane, who wasn't available. Instead, they signed Sadio Mane from Liverpool, hoping that they could use the Senegal forward in something of a false 9 role. That experiment didn't work out over the early stages of the 2022-23 campaign, though, forcing the Bavarians to effectively decide that a traditional center forward would be their top priority for this year's summer transfer window. Bayern initiated contact in the first weeks of summer, with sources telling ESPN's James Ollie that head coach Thomas Tuchel met with Kane at his family home, as the striker signaled his readiness to join Bayern. This encouraged the German club to intensify their efforts and seek an agreement with Tottenham. 2 executives within Bayern's newly formed transfer committee were tasked with leading the negotiations: Jan Christian Driesen, the chief executive, and Marco Nepp, the technical director. When Bayern submitted their first bid in late June, they used the offer to initiate a line of communication with Spurs chairman Daniel Levy. While Bayern were well aware that the offered €70 million was nowhere near enough to meet Levy's demands, the German club wanted to get a feel for how likely a transfer might be this summer. A recurring theme in Bayern's pursuit of stars from abroad is the German champions' claim that their potential signings would not only elevate their squad, but also the Bundesliga as a whole. Bayern always try to bring in stars. Club president Herbert Hainer told German football magazine Kicker in July, "Harry Kane is a highly attractive player, the England captain and a top scorer. He would do us and the Bundesliga good." Hainer's comment could also be seen as a sign to Tottenham that the Bundesliga side were not ready to give up too easily. After Bayern's first 2 bids, there was continuous communication between executives of both clubs. Driesen then met Levy for breakfast, the day before Tottenham left London for Australia, where they soon began their preseason tour. Once Spurs were back home, Driesen and Nepp intended to meet Levy and other members of Tottenham's hierarchy on July 28, although the meeting would be postponed for 3 days, when the 2 parties discussed the matter in person in London for a few hours. In the aftermath, Driesen and other executives remained confident and submitted another bid on August 4. This time, Bayern offered a total of €100 million. As Levy rejected that bid on August 7, Bayern's transfer committee held a meeting the same day, deciding they would increase their offer one more time. That decision was communicated to Spurs, so Bayern prepared yet another bid, and the €100 million offered on August 9 came close to the €116 million that had reportedly been demanded by Levy in previous conversation. The Rekordmeister also offered to pay a considerable chunk of the fixed transfer fee rather quickly, while so often payments in modern transfers are spread over 3 or 4 years. Spurs accepted the offer of €100 million with a further